My name is Captain Cecilia Erzuah. I am a military officer of the Ghana Armed Forces. I joined the military I was commissioned into the military in 2016 and posted to the Directorate of Military Records as a records officer. So, as a records officer, we are responsible, or I, together with other records officers, we are responsible for the documentation and the up-to-date records of troops. Currently, I am in the Support Service Brigade. It's another brigade in the armed forces, because as you commission into the armed forces, as time goes by, you are posted into other units or brigades to work. So since 2020 until I embarked on my mission with UNISPA, I was posted to the Support Services Brigade headquarters as the Staff Captain Administration. So as the name entails, I'm responsible for the day-to-day administration of troops under the Support Service Brigade. I have superiors to whom I report. I'm in charge of welfare, documentation, and any other task that I am given to perform. So as I mentioned, I've been here since 2020. However, in 2022, I embarked on my second peacekeeping operation with the United Nations Interim Security Force, for ABA, the Ghanaian Battalion, as its engagement platoon commander. And as an engagement platoon commander, I led the engagement platoon in all the interactions between the battalion and representatives of the people, being it the leaders, the women groups, youth groups, non-governmental agencies, governmental agencies, and other UN personnel working in our area of operation. And so that is a little bit about who I am, what I have been doing, and what I'm still doing. So personally, I have always been somebody who wanted to make impact and to give a different outlook to the roles of the female. Fortunately for me, I grew in a home where I wasn't discriminated against because I'm a female. I always had the opportunity to air my views on all family discussions. I happened to be the first female child of my parents, so I was never discriminated against. So that personal aspect of my life, I think, transitioned into the various aspects of my life. While in school, I read general arts. I love to express myself, literature, history, and all. And then I proceeded to the university, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, where I also read Bachelor's of Arts in History. In school, I was very vocal. I always participated in group meetings, in discussions. So I wasn't surprised that I was picked as a teaching assistant during my national service. So I stayed back in school as a teaching assistant to assist my department. From there, I joined the military in 2016 and commissioned in 2016. So I think that I joined the military based on my discipline background and the fact that I always felt the desire to prove that as a female, I could live to my full expectation and I could make impact. And I found the military as a very unique area to explore as a female, because not many women would want to join the military. So being in the military gives me the room to let others know that, yeah, you can be a female, but can still be in the military and still be able to balance your life. And so being in the military as a Ghanaian military officer opened the way for me to join peacekeeping, because here in Ghana, in our Ghana Armed Forces, almost every soldier gets the opportunity of embarking on peacekeeping. And being in uniform as a military officer, I also had the same benefits. And so in 2019, I went on my first peacekeeping mission with the United Nations Interim Security Forces in Lebanon as a records officer. And then in 2022, I went on my second peacekeeping mission with the United Nations Interim Security Force for ABA as the engagement platoon commander. So with peacekeeping, as I mentioned earlier, being in the military gave me the opportunity of joining peacekeeping. And I always felt that an area like the military will give me a broader platform to make impact, both at home and then in the international front. Thank you. So one of the things I enjoyed most being an engagement platoon commander of the Ghanaian battalion in UNISPA is that, one, it is a very meaningful role to play. And I think that as the world is advocating for all inclusiveness and women participation in peacekeeping, I recall my speech as the Gender Advocate Award winner at the UN headquarters. I mentioned that there is the need for commanders and for member states to give women more meaningful roles in peacekeeping. And I think engagement platoon commander is one of the meaningful roles that women play in peacekeeping. And having had the opportunity of being the Ghanaian engagement platoon commander in UNISPA was a benefit to me. So I got the opportunity of leading my platoon in interacting with the community. So I was always on the ground. And when you are a peacekeeper and you are always on the ground, you then appreciate truly what you are doing for the people. It is there that you get to interact with the people, for them to share with you their concerns and how much they appreciate you as peacekeepers. And I can say for a fact that with my platoon, leading my platoon, we encourage the people, especially the women. And if I again go to my speech, I mentioned that the women who were in the community protection committee became more visible, because now they saw women coming around to interact, and like the community police, they were like a sort of protection for the people. So that I must say, getting to interact with the people on the ground and knowing how much the people appreciate the work of my platoon, my battalion, and UNISPA was one aspect that I enjoyed most. And then again, being a woman in such a hostile environment, I was able to pull my platoon along, men and women, and I could see how encouraged they were whenever I was with them. So I must say that my work in interacting with the community is one of the things I enjoyed the most as an engagement platoon commander with my battalion. So I think there are both strengths, that's positives, and then some challenges. Being a woman of peacekeeping, I will go with the strength. It's not an overemphasized statement when we say that women are able to interact best, because I had that for-hand experience. It's very easy for these women, children, and even men in such hostile environment to interact with females, because there's that natural connotation that the woman is harmless. And so even in uniform, they still feel more comfortable. Naturally, when people are traumatized, they want to find some solace in individuals that they feel can protect them. And I think that is where the strength of the women comes in. We go in with our affable nature, with our motherly nature, with our sensitive nature and empathy to empathize with these victims. And they feel more at home. Women feel more at home sharing with their fellow women. And even we as peacekeepers, we could also interact, we could also discuss some sensitive issues with them. For instance, during the 31st October, which we used to mark Women, Peace and Security, my battalion undertook a breast cancer awareness with the community. And you could see how involved the women were, because we, the soldiers, were demonstrating with our bodies while they were also copying action. And you see that this is something that you can do most best when you're a woman, because you have the features they also have. And I'm not overemphasizing on the women, but it is a fact. They are the most vulnerable in such situations. So I think we women, or as a woman in peacekeeping, we have the ability to interact more easily, to win the hearts and minds of the people. That was the main thing, because as a battalion who had inserted into a multinational operation for the first time in Abia, we needed to get them to trust us. And we going forward with my women and the men alike, with the women leading, it became very easy for the community to trust us. And again, when they see we women do what the men do, we had a woman gunner mounting the gun on the APC. And when you see a woman being on the gun as a woman, you feel proud. So we motivated them. We became sort of role models to them, to also push their children to push themselves, even in the face of hardship, to aim for the best. So I think that we have a strength there. And even with our colleagues, the men, when we, the women, are there, we also encourage them. It is well, most women have that motherly instinct to be able to counsel, to be able to encourage. So our presence in peacekeeping really balances the equation. It makes things look natural, like in their home. I am yet to know if there's any country that has only men, or there's any country that has only females. So it is just like replicating our home. We have both the men and women, each playing their role to make the operation successful. So I think that one of the strengths we have as women is the ability to interact, to show empathy, and to win the hearts and minds of the people, through which they can then give us the information and the needed information we need as a battalion in order to operate. Because if you don't get those information, if you don't win their trust, you will be in the area, but you don't know where best to deploy your men and where best to secure your troops and then the village or the community. And yes, so as much as we had our benefits, the operation is also it's a peacekeeping operation. So obviously the terrain is hostile, and everybody, even the peacekeepers, are also at risk of falling casualty. So as women and as a woman, the possibility of falling casualty was also a challenge. So you always have to be cautious, be very vigilant in what you are doing. And then another challenge of being in the peacekeeping is definitely you miss home. You miss your family, especially when you hear that something is going wrong in the house. The anxiety you feel. So emotionally, it can be draining. Psychologically, emotionally, physically, being in peacekeeping can be draining. It is not like when you're on peacekeeping, it's not as if you've gone for tourism somewhere where you can move around, you're on your own, and you can go sightseeing. In this case, you are in a hostile environment where you can fall casualty. And then back home, you hear that the family is not doing well. It gives you a lot of emotional challenge. So that But then we are able to overcome it by encouraging each other and then having our counseling team. We have the Ghanaian Battalion always has a counseling team on standby to counsel personnel who get overwhelmed by challenges in the mission area and back at home. So family matters become a challenge. Some have issues, no marital challenges because you stay home, you stay away for a while. Their children, those who are mothers, have their children, concerns of the children, how they are faring, and especially when you don't have a specified date, like we suffered in ABA. At a point, we were not sure when we were coming home. And so that anxiety built up in people in their homes, and it became a very stressful period. But then, as I said, we encourage each other, and we have the most important is mental fortitude. As a woman, you have to make up your mind that this is what you've done. You've chosen to bring peace to the world, and it is not a roller coaster. That is not, it's not everybody who can join the military. So long as you join the military, it means you have that mental fortitude and you have to encourage yourself. Then we also encourage each other, and then we are able to pave ourselves through the various challenges. An experience in peacekeeping that really touched me and encouraged me or pushed me on as a woman was in ABA. There was a day that one of the villages in our area of operation was under attack, and troops went to defend the village, and then as the protection of civilian officer, my responsibility was that in such situations, I was doubling as the engagement platoon commander and the protection of civilian officer. So in such situations, myself and my team, we had to bring in the various, the women and children and the aged, those who were seeking shelter. You find the villagers running to our company operating bases. So my role was that I will get my team so that we bring them to safety. And in one of those instances, I saw a mother carrying her children with her things and pulling some along. And that brought me to tears. Like, you see how families are ready to sacrifice themselves for their loved ones. And it reminded me of home. And as a woman, I felt encouraged that I am helping these people to save themselves. There was even a situation where we had to stop another mother because she had come to safety. She was with us, but she told me that her son was still there in the village. So we should hold on to her baby while she goes back to go and bring her son. And it took a lot of effort to tell her that no, she should stay. Our personnel were going to bring the children to safety. And so that single experience, among others, made me realize that everybody needs peace. Peace probably is the most important thing we can't joke with, to the extent that a mother would risk her life just to make sure that her children were in safety. Fathers were risking their lives just to ensure that their families were in safety. And as a peacekeeper, that broke me and made me realize that, yes, I'm on the right course, so that if I'm able to alleviate some of the difficulties that these people were having, even with a smile, with just giving them some form of shoulder to lean on, then I will keep going as a peacekeeper. So I think this was one of the many experiences that really touched me and made me realize that there is a need to keep advocating for peace, to keep advocating for understanding, so that we don't lose the peace we have as a people. Thank you. The Ghana forces has made it a point that there's always a pre-deployment training for troops going to embark on peacekeeping mission. And as part of the training, we have the men and women training together. We do the theoretical training and also we do practical training. So mostly we have 8 weeks of training for 8 weeks of pre-deployment training where we are camped in our training center and taking through very important lessons like sexual exploitation and abuses. We are taking through role of women in peacekeeping. We are taking through crowd control, a lot of training. And as the engagement platoon, we had a special training even for the engagement platoon members. And fortunately, the UN also has an engagement platoon manual, which my command made it available to me. And with it, I read myself into the manual as the engagement platoon commander so that I would better understand what I was going to do. And when aside the pre-deployment training that we had as a battalion, whilst in the mission area, we had continuous training, small arms attack. We just repeated the various trainings that we had before deploying to still to the ground. Sometimes when you're on the ground, you realize that you have to reinforce this aspect of the training. You have to amend this aspect of the training to suit the situation on the ground. And as the engagement platoon commander, I was given the responsibility to train again my personnel, which I did. So I came out with a training using the United Nations engagement platoon manual. I did my own training bullet where I took my troops through various training. And intermittently, when there is the need, we always did refresher training. So I might say that every Ghanaian soldier who embarks on peacekeeping is taken through a pre-deployment training, and I was no exception. I had pre-deployment training in all my peacekeeping missions. I've always had it, and this time around it wasn't different. And we were taught a lot about what we can do as women, our role in the peacekeeping, and then we were also given the room to demonstrate how best we can undertake our various roles. So I think that the pre-deployment training makes us confident to undertake our peacekeeping mission. It makes us more professional and apt in whatever we do in peacekeeping. And then whilst in the peacekeeping mission, we always do refresher training so that we refresh ourselves and we get abreast with situations on ground so that you will not be applying different training in a different ground. You have to synchronize the training to the ground. So we always have pre-deployment training and in-mission training to help us become better peacekeepers. Thank you. I think I'm happy about the fact that not only are we doing physical training on ground, but then now we have 40 bringing in e-learning. I think now we have our phones with us. Most people have advanced phones that can access the internet and makes it very easy to, when you are doing e-learning, wherever I am, I don't need to be in a confined place. We don't need to be together. Wherever we are, we can also access the same documents. And even when you are after the course, you can always refresh yourself. So I think that e-learning is a good thing that we are doing for training of peacekeepers, because learning cannot cease. And so we have to devise all means to help ourselves to learn. And for electronic learning to be part of the training that go through as peacekeepers, I think is good. It makes it easy. It makes it more accessible to a wide network of people, and so I do go in for e-learning. Although I have not yet had an experience myself, but it is something that I think is good that we encourage it. As a Ghanaian military officer, I'm personally happy that my country happens to be Ghana is the most female contributing country when it comes to peacekeeping, and being a part of the Ghana forces, that makes me very proud. I think that it is good that the United Nations is advocating for women in peacekeeping, and not just women being in peacekeeping, but being put in more meaningful roles like commanding officers, officers commanding, engagement platoon commanders, and the like. I think that is very good. This is because if we are looking at empowering females, then we should give them the opportunity to bring out their capabilities. They should live to full expectation. There shouldn't be limitations as to what you can do and what you cannot do. So as much as possible, it shouldn't be, this is my opinion. I think that in as much as we are bringing a female on board, we should ensure that we are also capable of what we've been put to. I think that will make it fair for our men, because if we are all undergoing the same training, as much as possible, if I say we are undergoing the same training, for instance, if we are to run 3.2 kilometers, which we do here for our basic fitness test, as a woman, I'm supposed to do the same run, 3.2 kilometers. But I don't have to necessarily go the same pace as my male counterparts if I cannot. I cannot, not because I'm weak, but I am doing it at my level and with my strength. That is what I believe in deploying women on peacekeeping. So it is a good thing the UN and the world is advocating for the women. As I have mentioned earlier, we have the equal capabilities as our men when given the opportunity and given the room to also function. However, we as women should make sure that we are up to the task. We shouldn't seek unnecessary favors because we are women, but then we should do our best to execute whichever task we are given so that it becomes beneficial to the mission. As I mentioned, in peacekeeping, you are not a tourist. You are in a hostile environment. So if you cannot protect yourself and protect others, and then you are sent there because you are a woman, then you endanger your colleagues and endanger the people you are serving. So I think that I'm happy Ghana is sending more women peacekeeping, and I'm happy that women like myself and others have proven that yes, we are equally capable. And so I think that it's a good thing when the women are giving training like our men and we are being pushed out there and we are excelling, then it is a good thing. It shouldn't be like we are being favored. No, we should be given the room to come out, to do our best. And then when given the room to, we as women to show that we can do it. So I think it's a good thing and we should continue. However, we should ensure that we are getting equal training, we are getting the necessary training so that we can act and we can function well as peacekeepers and as women in the military. Then I would want to touch on my award as a United Nations Military Gender Advocate. So I think that the award is to recognize efforts of military peacekeepers to incorporate gender perspective in the work they do. And as a woman peacekeeper, whilst in peacekeeping, what I was doing was that my platoon, which was the engagement platoon, was composed of both males and females, which I was their commander. And I never discriminated against anybody as to whether you were a male or you were female. You are going. If it is patrols, we are going. Unless you are sick or unless there is a genuine reason why you cannot join, whether female or male, we are all going. And so that aspect of bringing on board both men and women was glaring seen in my line of work. And then there was a part my commander even introduced a monthly all-female engagement patrol. And with that, I mobilized. Even the women who were not organic to the engagement platoon, whether you were a cook, whether you are a mechanic, whatever your role was, my commander ensured that you join the patrol so that you have an experience of what is going on ground. Then in the community, I together with my platoon, we engaged everybody. There's a very high tendency for personnel to just engage the leaders. But you realize that when you are fishing for information, sometimes the people you least expect have the information will be the ones who have it. And they give you a different angle of the information you need. And so as the engagement platoon commander, I ensure that we engage every facet of the population, whether women, children, the men, leaders, school children, and whatever. And I think that with this report, the report we sent as a battalion and the work we were doing on ground and the testimony that the local population were giving about my battalion made it possible for me as an engagement platoon commander and as a Ghanaian female peacekeeper to win the 2022 United Nations Gender Advocate of the Year Award. And so I think that it was a collaborative effort by my battalion and the whole UNISPA and the various countries in operation that led to the winning of the award. I would like to send across a piece of encouragement or a word of encouragement to fellow women in uniform and men alike and the youth. I think that one thing that has led me to where I am is the grace of God and then my zeal to succeed. I have always believed that I can, so long as A did it and didn't die, then I can also do it. So that is what motivated me in training. I must share that at the time I was enlisted into the training school, I could only do one push-up. I was a civilian, I had never done running, I don't know what is stomach exercise, I don't know what is fit push-up, I won't do it. So I very well remember that my first physical training, I cried. I did only one push-up. And the physical trainers were like, no, you can do it. Just continue. So if I was able to do it and I am 7 years in the service as a military officer, I want everybody out there, especially my fellow women, the young girls, don't limit yourself. Give yourself the opportunity to explore, to grow, especially where whatever you are aiming at is positive. If I have been able to do it, and we have several other Ghanaian military females in the service, we have generals, colonels who are females, I totally believe that they can also do it if they put themselves out there. When it becomes difficult, look at the person who has succeeded and tell yourself that if A, B, C succeeded, I will also succeed. Don't always look at the negative part. Yes, people failed, but how many also succeeded? Why don't you join yourself to those who succeeded? Look at the positive side. They should join the various security services, like I have said. Our role in the various security services is very impactful. So I would just encourage my fellow girls there, my young men who are sometimes discouraged. Don't be discouraged. Look at the person ahead of you. Pick a role model and let that person motivate you, and you will achieve it. Little drops of water, they say, make a mighty ocean. One day you will look back and you will thank God that you didn't give up, but you forged ahead. Thank you.